to the 7th birthday of In a Nutshell. As I promised you a few days ago, that we are going to talk about certain main topics that the book series has focused on since its inception in 2013. But back then, I've been writing also about issue that was troubling the one Sudan before they split in 2011, and that was in 2005 and maybe a little bit back. The main things about writing, in my view, is to participate in the public debate, in the process of state nation, and fixing the troubled past on the situation that Sudan has been through. So Sudan actually has been in very troubled past since its independence in 1956. And that troubled, unstable political situation has led to many crises, many national crises. South Sudan issue, Darfur, Nuba Mountains, Ghazna. I mean, Sudan never been stable. The political leadership has failed to form an inclusive, diverse platform of a state that can contain all its people with their own differences. We know that Sudan is really very diverse. It's one of the most diverse countries in Africa. We have all sorts of races, culture, tribes, religions, very, very, very much diversity. But it is beautiful. It is a diversity that can be used to create a beautiful country, a great country, and that could be an example for many, many, many countries around the world that are having the same structure. But we failed. And our failure is due to many, many factors. Some of them they are internal, some of them are external. So we've been writing about fixing Sudan when Dr. John was trying to establish a new Sudan, a Sudan that is inclusive, Sudan that is one within diversity, within differences. So we have this umbrella, the constitutions, the governing system, the political system have to be something that inclusive. But it failed. It failed because some section of political entities saw within that kind of inclusiveness a threat to their culture, their way of life. So they resisted in many ways. And so, but in a diverse country like Sudan, we have to accept the reality that if we have to live in one room peacefully, united, and we are going to grow in prosperity, I mean, in all aspects. We need to accept that. We have to accept that there have to be equality. There have to be an environment that is respecting everybody. That will make each one of us somebody. I mean, within that system or within that environment, everyone has to grow. Everyone has to live with dignity. Everyone has to live with, have to live happy. Everyone has to feel it's a part of the whole, all the whole nation. But if you try to alienate someone and try to get away with the lion's share or the whole country and then marginalize the rest of the citizen, of the rest of the group, to be like a second class or to have lesser right or to have that kind of setting is not going to work. It's not going to work. If it works, it will work on a basis of injustice, domination, suffering of others, on the expense, happiness grows of others in the expenses of the others too. So this is the situation why South Sudan got out of the whole deal, which is Sudan. And that been a very long struggle. Since 1955, the Tory Modern, the Anyanya 1, Anyanya 2, SPLM, SPLA, and until we split. We split because we were living under a leadership that is that did not fulfill our aspiration as a nation. We were suffering. We were dominated. We were, marginalized economically, politically, socially. So it's been a very suffering, very horrible process experience to the South Sudanese. So Dr. John Grant, the founder of the founder of the SPLM, SPLA, or one of the founders. A lot of people don't agree politically on those things, so that's not my point here. My point is that the vision of Dr. John was in two parallel drive or approach. One that trying to achieve one Sudan, new, diverse, secular, and democratic, inclusive, where all Sudanese can live happily, united, and prosperous, and in peace and everything. So just like many countries like the United States, like Nigeria, like many countries in Africa and also around the world are diverse, just like Sudan. So it's just about setting a system that can include all those pieces, or all those sections of people or nations, and live as one country, one nation. The other approach is that if the United Sudan, New Sudan failed, then the South Sudanese and the other marginalized, they have a right to decide their fate, to decide their destiny through referendum, and after we have waged all this long struggle for liberation, and it lasted almost 24 years, and with a cost of almost 3 million people. So in 2011, we went for a referendum. We decided wholeheartedly with 98.98% for separation. That was undoubtedly a decisive, very decisive move that we actually want to go from Sudan and establish our new state, new nation, under our own norms, political system, culture, social, economic system, under our own political leaders, our own government. So in 2011, we got our independence. So our expectations were high, were completely high, and we expected that the leadership of SPLM, SPLA, which waged the liberation war and sacrificed a lot just to achieve the cause of independence and liberation. So everyone was expecting that whatever we dream about, from freedom, security, economic growth and fulfillment, social stability, and all that. So we are expecting that the new SPLM leadership, the new leadership under the SPLM and the other parties, it's a complete South Sudanese leadership that is going to be completely different from the leadership of former Sudan that was mostly biased and unjust. So in 2011, we started very well. And the nation coming out from victory of referendum, but where we all voted. What different tribes, small and big, all political sections, all tribes, all religion. We voted for independence. That means that each one of us has a vote over there. And I remember that day, in U.S. here, especially in Nebraska, Omaha, which was a center for Midwest. It was something that unforgettable. People coming from all the state of Midwest in a very severe weather. There was snow, very severe snow that day. People did not sleep the other day, which was July 8, 2011. They were celebrating, they were expecting, they were enjoying, they were in a very high feeling of going to vote, becoming independent, become somebody, in my own country. So you see that. So we did it in that day, despite the weather, despite the challenges, despite there was nothing that was really could stop us that day, even if it snowed. And the result was victory. So let's come back to what we were expecting from our leaders. With the unfortunate death of Dr. John, the man who we think has a vision for what he was actually trying to do if South Sudan became a country. Many people were saying that maybe Dr. John will not, he will still press on for United Sudan, which I don't think so, because he actually, he already, came to conclusion that if the option of one Sudan fail, then the South Sudanese has a right to go for option 2, which is the separation through referendum. And we did. He did his role. He did it. He did it and very well. Despite many differences with Dr. John in politics, in political view, all this, we have to give everybody his rule. He is spending nights, days working on that and sacrificing a lot. So we really owe him a lot. Just like President Salva, Dr. Riek, all those politicians and leaders of SPLM, it doesn't mean that they did not spend night working for that objective or they did not sacrifice, but no, they did. They did their rule. Our problems is not what they did. Our problem is what they became after the independence. What changed them? Why they did not continue with the objective of SPLM to liberate South Sudan. And the books, the nutshell has said that after the successful liberation of the land and the people, in terms of physical liberation, the SPLM failed completely to execute phase 2 of the liberation after we get our independence. That phase 2 is to liberate the mind, the mental set of the mindset of South Sudanese people, which has been under domination for a very long time. That domination was by design. There is a lot that within our mindset, within our beliefs, concept, thinking, that need to be liberated for us to be completely liberated or independent. We can still work with the same belief that we know that they are wrong, that we know that we waged a war to be different. So a political party like SPLM, which has a grand mission of liberating or establishing a new state, a new nation, this is not just an easy. You just say you vote and South Sudan become independent, and that's it. Then each one is going to, no, that was the mistake that I believe the SPLM fall into. The SPLM, after the independence, and as a political party, it should have a vision, should continue with the vision of itself as a political party. What does it want from South Sudan? How it wants South Sudan? How it's going to transform South Sudan, the nation, the country? How you are going to bring all together the tribe of South Sudan to be a nation, in the state of nation, state building. So, what is the substance that like the agenda, the political programs the all this kind of inclusive agenda that you will use for a state and nation building. What is your economic system for the new country that you are going to use to, revolutionize production, set production area, rice in a wheel, oil in Malut, sorghum in Rang, mango production, fruit production in Mangal somewhere, and minerals in Jonglei. All this, the whole country, you need to have an economic map. Production centers of different products that are going to fall and come into national economic revenue. And how are you going to do that? Connect the country with roads, production areas, with market areas, internal markets, external markets. So diverse productions. So use the oil money to revolutionize agriculture. We have a lot of resources. We are blessed. But it takes leadership. It takes leadership to achieve just that. So I believe